Okay.
Did you guys see this with Warhammer?
No.
So they put Sargon of Akkad into the canon as a villain, kind of showing you where they're at. This is after all that bullshit that went down too.
They're doing everything they can to just tank their sales completely.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it
what
just
the
shows
fuck
you
they're
that
doing.
people like that, like Sargon of Akkad, they just live rent free in these people's heads, even
Yeah.
though they say they don't. They
Yeah,
absolutely do.
it's crazy, man. This there was some other stuff that happened with Warhammer. There was that did you so the rumor is that Henry Cavill's pissed about that female custody thing.
Yep.
And basically Amazon is making him do it.
No, what? So apparently, what was happening was, it's allegedly because Henry Cavill broke the news too early that it forced Games Workshop into some weird like bad deal with Amazon. And then once they made that bad deal, because apparently they're very like they really want to get this show on the road, Amazon started to make demands of them and saying like, well, we need to have female representation, and we can't have the Sisters of Silence because they don't speak, so we can't have that because that's not progressive, I guess. So they're like, we need to have like a female Space Marine or something, because there has to be like something that's like that's like like it's sort of like in terms of Warhammer, like a Space Marine is like their version of like the Star Wars Jedi, not in terms of powers or whatever, but just in terms of like brand recognition, if you will.
Yeah.
So they're like, we need to have a female Space Marine, because if we have that, then we can make stories or whatever. And Games Workshop is like, everyone's gonna hate that. We don't want that. But we really want to get this, thing made, because if like look what happened with Fallout, right? The Fallout show was so successful that the sales of the games went up by like 7,000% in the UK or something insane like that.
It was nuts. Yeah,
So-
Fallout 4 specifically was topping the charts. That was even though the update I guess broke a bunch of shit. That was a smart move by them to put that next gen update next to that show.
Yeah.
I'll give them that. I think that helped get a lot of more people like willing to give that game another chance. It worked for me. I gave it another chance.
Yeah, and that's what's happening, right? They kind of like, in a sense, ruined themselves because they were so eager to get this thing off the ground, to get going, and they were basically making any sort of what's the word? Like any sort of sacrifice they could, if you will, in order to make this thing happen. And it led to a lot of really bad decisions. And now they are where they are. And then you have the female custodies, and apparently they're not even going to make like physical versions of the custodies. They're just going to let that be in the lore, and they're never going to make it because nobody wants to buy it. Because if you go back in like 15 years, something like that, every time they tried to make a female version of any character to be sold, the stores that they would sell it to would always complain and say like, can you guys stop making these? Because like no one's buying them. We just have like a huge stock of these like female Warhammer things that nobody wants to buy. So, but there you go. And they're just now Amazon's basically putting their foot on their neck, and now we're where we are now. So there you go.
Yeah, it's I wonder if it will do significant damage to this hobby. Because I mean, it's not really that big. I mean,
Well, the
designs
fans though are
yeah.
rabid. The actual Warhammer fans are pretty rabid.
Yeah,
they are, but I wonder if some of them will leave over this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the way it's looking, what a lot of fans are doing is they're just basically saying like Games Workshop doesn't own the hobby, the fans do. So a lot of them are just resorting to 3D printing and stuff. So they're still able to essentially enjoy the hobby and not give money to Games Workshop, just give the money to like, I guess, other players that can just 3D print for them instead. So, the hobby will never die per se, but if Games Workshop were smart, they would obviously change these things back. But I think the damage is already done now.
Well, there's a lot of fans of the extended lore, people that read the novels and all that.
Yeah.
It's real extensive lore in that.
I mean, I don't know if Flash can pull it up, but they also have there's that writer that's working on Space Marine 2 that's like a super insane woke person as well. And yeah, Ashley Cooper.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other thing right there that they also have to deal with too, because basically Space Marine has like woke writers attached to it, and that game comes out in September, I think. So that's another not good thing.